It's a whole new experience. So.
It is. And with that, let's go to our guest line. If you happen to be watching us on QSportsTalk.com, you see the new head coach of Syracuse football joining us, Fran Brown, with us for about 10 minutes or so. Coach, it's great to have you on. I know that this is something that you've been preparing for, for quite a while. It is 2 days away. Can you, pull back the curtain a little bit? How you feeling? Describe your emotions here about 48 hours or so away from kickoff.
Well, I'm nervous, but I'm really focusing on the day, though. I'm just trying to make sure that we got an important practice coming up. So, like no one's done the practice, it's something that I inherited from being at Georgia, the way we practice there. So it's an important practice that's different for all the coaches, and I decided for none of them to truly know what's going on. They know what to prep for, but they don't know how it's going to go, because I want to put everybody in a chaotic situation today, so that way they can just respond to adversity and then relax and go out and just remind them all that you're just playing football. It's still football no matter what. You still got to go out there and call plays and do things of that nature, but it's still just football.
You've been through countless game days as a player, as an assistant. This will be your first game day, obviously, as head coach. Does your routine change at all now that you're the man in charge, or will it be kind of business as usual for you and you'll go back to what you know?
I think it'll be business as usual. Just the same things I'll do. I'll work out on my own extremely early before everybody get up, and then just be ready to go. It's different things I'll have to do. Like I don't have to necessarily go in and sit there and coach with the corners and the safeties and do all that kind of stuff consistently that entire day. Our assistant Joe Schaefer will be able to do all that, but it'll be business as usual. Though. Just focused on just making sure that everybody's locked in, though. Now I got to really look at every position, look at everything, that head coaches meeting that you had. That full staff meeting that I was in on Saturdays for a long time. I'm actually running that meeting now, to understand and know who's playing when, how we're playing guys. So it's a lot of stuff that I have to do that's different, but it's all business. It's business as normal.
Coach, as a first-year head coach, how do you prepare for, certain situations? We were discussing this a little bit ago. How do you know in advance what you're going to do in a certain penalty situation or a time situation?
So I'm going to be honest with y'all, because most people try to say, I'm so nervous about that. But I'm locked in on the CAI and all the stuff that we have, and then I put us through so many scenarios in practice. But that might be the one thing that I think about, all right, end of the first half, how do we get points out of this? We got this many timeouts, how, just those little pieces. How do we go in with points or just the ball? In fourth quarter, how do I make sure that I manage the clock the right way if needed and all? That's kind of the piece that everything else is easy to me. It's just, you've seen so many people lose games and do different things in those situations because they didn't put themselves in those situations. But I think that we've done as many as possible by having so much experience on our staff, and we talk about them a lot and go through things. And I meet with Coach Nuns all the time, and we work through the CAI book and just going through stuff. So that will be the one piece, me telling you that, just being peeling back the curtain, being honest about stuff is what is the one thing that I get a little nervous about and go through? That will probably be it. But I'll figure it out. I'll make sure we make the right decisions. I got so many coaches on the staff, which everyone talks anyway. It's not like you just do it on your own because you're looking at it. But I want to be prepared before the moment hits, if that makes sense.
Of course. And to follow up on that, so clearly there's studying involved, and you look at the analytics and the analytics for certain situations. How much of it is a gut decision too? When you go to the moment that maybe the analytics tell you one thing, but the gut tells you something else.
The gut, I'm talking about just the manage the clock part. The gut, I'm going my gut. I'm going to always go with me over, just all the analytics all the time, There's certain things that I'm going to do and we already know, but, you got to go with feeling, go with gut. I talked to one of my mentors the other day, and I was telling him that, and he was like, hey, you got where you at because of your instincts and your gut. Don't go listen to no book. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, yeah, you're right. He was like, no, I mean that. I tried to do that, and it didn't work all the time. So don't go with no book. Go with your gut. Your gut got you in that seat. So, and I said, all right, cool, I got you.
We heard from Coach Albin earlier in the week from his press conference, and he said one of the things he's worried about is coming out of camp, how his guys are going to tackle. He said it's hard to, kind of replicate game speed and game conditions in practice. Is there anything you're worried about or concerned about or going to have your eye on with your players coming out of camp and going into game one?
I mean, the same things. I think every coach worry about that, about flags, not being sloppy, tackling and protecting the football. The same thing. Like, you worry. Want to make sure you look right? You about to get an opportunity to go out in front of the country. You want to look like you want to look nice. Same way it was when I first, met my wife and I got that outfit on that I wanted to wear. I don't want to look good. You want them to see them, be like, oh, I like how they look. I want to see them again. You know what I'm saying? I want to go watch them play again. I want to make sure that we give I just think that up here in Central New York, we have something going really, really well. And our fans deserve the best. So I want to make sure that I give them what they deserve and that we work our butts off so that way they get what they deserve. So we've been practicing, putting ourselves in different situations so that way they can come and be proud of who we are as, not just coaches or just players, but just as student athletes and as them period, and be comfortable enough to say that's my team,
Coach, you just said you want to give the Syracuse area the best. We are a talk radio show, and of course, it gets heated on talk radio, talking football in this town. What is a successful season for you as a head coach?
Man, you keep asking me these questions. You know the type of guy I am, right? What you think success is? In fact, I'm going to show you what. You see that on my thing up there? Can you see that? 19
team.
Yes.
1959, 1987.
Yeah, the undefeated team in 87. Yeah,
that's success. So, that's what successful is for me because that's why I was hired here. I wasn't hired here to do anything less than that. So when that doesn't happen, that's what I feel success is. I put a lot of pressure and weight on myself because I can handle it. To whom much is given, much is required. So that's success to me. I'm not going to sit in here like I told you guys when we were on the show before. I think it was me, us, and then Coach Robinson. I'm not going to tell you 8-4 is successful,
I love that answer, and I know a lot of fans love that answer as well, Coach. Looking at the depth chart, a lot of young guys on the depth chart, a lot of veterans as well, but a lot of young guys. Did anybody surprise you in camp, from a redshirt freshman perspective or a true freshman perspective that came in and grabbed a job?
I would say not a redshirt freshman, but Barry Buxton. He really surprised me and did an amazing job. Gil. Gil, our receiver. Gil, he did a real good job also. That guy came in and stepped up and earned the respect, to be able to play right now. Amari Hatcher came and took a spot. He did an amazing job. And just from offensive line, older guy that I'm really happy with was Bradford. Him, Joe Cruz. And we got some young guys on the O-line like David Wallaby, who will be back soon. And Trey Mack. Those guys are doing really, really well, and so they did good. I would say Brahim Long, Brahim Long's going to get some time. He did well. One who everyone knows, Marcellus Barnes will probably be a starter Saturday, depending how they finish out practice today, who wins it out. But Marcellus Barnes can probably end up starting as a true freshman. And, that kid's, regardless whether he starts or not, he'll be in before the third series. So, you got a kid like that who's really, he came in and showed that he can play football. And Yasin Willis, who was another guy that, you got LaQuint Allen and all those guys, but Yasin Willis will play football. You'll see him early and often. So, those are some of the guys that done well.
All right, Coach, let's turn our attention to this opponent. What can you tell us about Ohio? What stands out to you about the Bobcats?
Quarterback's a guy. I think quarterback could really play. That quarterback, he's a dual threat. I think Hunt can play. Anthony, they got a bunch of running backs that can play. They're tight end. I look at Coleman Owen, Eamon Dennis is a good player. You know, you watching them, Chase Hendricks. I mean, I just know all their guys. They all can play. I mean, they're specialists. They do a really good job. So excited about them. But I think their offensive line coach, my hat goes off to him. I think he does a really good job when you watch him, and their receiver coach been doing a good job. I mean, their coach, guys, just think of this. I was 7 years old when their head football coach started coaching football. So job, and I mean, I've been following them and have 2 back-to-back 10-win seasons. Those dudes did well. I think their nose is a pretty good player. They got some guys on the defensive side of the ball that does well. I like their Mike Shake Taylor. I think he does a good job. The strong safety, Brawley, Adonis, the free safety, that corner Roman can play. And then Tate Pearson's also a good player. So, I mean, they got a bunch of guys that can play football that, you know, you just get excited about being able to watch and see them. And, you know, I think they're good football players, man. They do a good job. I mean, we happy to play them. Like, you know, I want to play. Like, we ready to play. This isn't like, I mean, they do a good job. I'm happy they do, but I think our offensive coordinator does a good job also, you know? I don't usually say anything like that in that nature. It's just when the game comes, you're going to get an opportunity to see us compete against them. And I'm thankful because we get to go against a good team. So you'll see where we are. It's a good test for us. Because we've gone against a team that's won 2 10-win seasons back-to-back. Before that, I think it was like 9 and other things. So, I mean, you're going against a good coaching staff and actually a good program. They're not even a football team. They have a good program. So.
Back 10-win seasons, back-to-back bowl victories as well. And coaches, we wrap things up here. Just any sort of message to the fans. The floor is yours. I mean, you know, it's a new dome, it's a new team, it's a new coaching staff, a lot of excitement. What's your message to the fans as you kick this thing off on Saturday?
Come watch us compete. Come be loud. Let's have a lot of fun, but just come watch us compete. Let's turn it up in there. You know, we got it. This is our spot. This is Central New York. You know, we are New York's football team, and it's important that you guys are there because our players work their butts off, and they deserve to have a good crowd, and you deserve to see a good football team. So I feel if we collab together, we play good football, you cheer well, we put this thing together, it could be something special up here in Central New York.
Coach, we cannot wait for 3:30 Saturday. Thanks so much for coming out. We look forward to the first edition of the Fran Brown Show tonight. Best of luck on Saturday, and we'll talk to you again next week.
I appreciate you guys as always. Thank y'all. Y'all be safe. Stay blessed.
Enjoy it.
Yeah, right. Enjoy it. Enjoy